Hey everybody, welcome to a very special Lev Remembers with two incredible special guests. We have Ellie Leonard and Tara Palmeri, some incredible investigative real independent journalists, what we need and what we stand for. And they've been doing some incredible work when it comes to the Epstein files. And today we're as the question is, who is the real Michael Wolff? And the past, I want to start off by saying a lot of people have been getting passes for some reason, and like Michael Cohen, Michael Wolff, because for some reason, because at some point they pretended to be part of the good guys. They came out and tried to come out and say, well, we weren't a part of it, but I know this much, this much. Then all of a sudden, the Epstein files dump came. And what way and behold, we start finding out things that we never knew. All of a sudden, we're starting to see that Michael Cohen wasn't as truthful with us as he was, lying, saying that he never knew who Epstein was. Coming on literally on every show saying, I've been around Donald Trump for as long as I know, and I've never even heard the name Epstein. We knew something was wrong. Then we take Michael Wolff. He was on a campaign, every daily show, television. Everybody took him in, just like that sweetheart. He's going to go sue Melania. He's going to uncover all of this corruption. He's going to show you who the real Donald Trump and Epstein is. Raises close to $1 million. And all of a sudden, the Epstein files drop and he disappears. And all of a sudden, he starts blocking everybody. And for some reason, a lot of people in this echo chamber, in this community, keep saying, leave them alone, move on. We need to join forces. We need to unite. I want to stop everybody right there. Is unite with who? Pedophile protectors? Unite with who? People that were part of the corruption? Unite with who? People that are trying to cover up and not come to the truth? No. We are not going to unite with those type of people. There's certain standards I think certain people have, and it doesn't matter, what it is. So, and thank God that there's really good people like Ellie and like Tara and others, Zev and Kate, Justice and others that don't care what people say, and they're continuously fighting to be able to uncover stuff. And we're uncovering stuff every day, folks. Till this day, every day things are being uncovered, things that are incredible. So I want to start off by this. I want to play something to you, and then we're going to get into it. So Michael Cohen and Michael Wolff did a podcast. Some of you might have that joined me last night. I did a special on it. I played a little bit, so bear with me. But for a lot of you that haven't heard it, I want you to hear, because they are basically now both trying to whitewash their whatever involvement in the Epstein situation, and now they're trying to talk about attacking real independent journalists like Ellie, like Tara, like others, trying to turn them into the bad guys and flip the script. So we're not going to allow them to do it. We're going to go over some real facts and proof. But before we go, guys, let me play this so everybody could hear, and then we'll discuss it. Take these off, because I don't have the technology. I'm not like Zev. I don't have the technology. So I got to do it the old way. So here we go. Let me make sure. Well,
I think you can do it now. You just hit the button on the right. Oh,
brings me up to this. When you and I were sitting and talking on the street, I was asking you about, for example, Tara Palmeri, Lev Parnas, this guy Zev Shalev, Dean Blundell, Ellie Leonard, and a whole group of other far left-wing activists in their own minds. They call themselves influencers, right? Whether it's on whatever platform that they're on. They went and they make all of these statements. Michael Cohen claims he knows nothing about Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. We now have the official government documents that prove he was lying to everyone. In fact, they go ahead and they post the following, which says Cohen also tried to separate the Katie Johnson rape allegation into two different cases on PDB. That's the Patrick Bet-David podcast, claiming he only handled the Jane Doe complaint. But his own timeline collapsed. He described sending private investigators to the accuser's address, calling it a vacant parking lot. Shalev pulled up the actual location. It's a house The lawyer Cohen contacted turned out to be the same lawyer connected to Katie Johnson. His own words confirmed what investigators have been saying. It was the same case all along. But here's the interesting part, right? The lawyer himself, in a document, in a text message to me, claims, I never dealt with an attorney named Michael Cohen. And then he says, you are conflating two entirely different Jane Doe cases, meaning they're completely wrong, right? And this has caused me, and I know that Tara Palmeri and Lev and others have caused you a similar sort of angst and
I don't
ridicule.
Yes, they really haven't. I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm aware of these people. I'm hardly aware of them, but there is. I don't know what they seem to me. They're conspiracy buffs. The world is filled with, it's like, crime buffs, conspiracy buffs. I don't know what they get out of this, and I don't know.
Well, they get subscribers and money.
Well, I suppose, they're trying to claw out a living in this desperately difficult business. So I think that's, and this probably, and there is a coterie, I think, of people who are interested in these kinds of conspiracies and everything piled onto everything and everything conflated. And it's a somewhat of a fantasy world. And I think that they live in that, but that doesn't affect me very much. You get comments, but I mean, the nice thing about Substack is it's an easy block.
Right.
So I don't know, and that's also one of the things about defamation and libel from a.
So that was one of it. Do you want me to play another 2 clips before we go into all of it?
There's no conspiracy about the fact that he wanted to buy New York Magazine and, in fact, put together a bid that fell through in the last minute with Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein, Michael Wolff. There is no conspiracy there. There are documents, there are emails. That is not a conspiracy. There is no conspiracy over what Michael Cohen told me from his own mouth about sending a private investigator to find a Jane Doe. I've never been called a conspiracy theorist in my 18 years as a journalist.
What about far left leftists?
No one's ever called me.
When he said
I've never been called a far leftist either.
right. No, but like just that terminology when he said a far left conspiracy theorist, I was like, oh, okay, he's totally flipped it. Like that's the thing. I mean, you don't call us left radicals if you're like fighting on the right side. Like that terminology doesn't exist unless you are coming from a certain side of the coin.
Also, he's the one who's obsessed with this. Like, here's what
we didn't bring up Katie Johnson to him. We just asked him about if he knew about Epstein. Like, we didn't even bring it up.
Here's the thing. The problem right now is that both of these men are sitting on a lot of information that they continue. Well, in Michael Wolff's case, he continues to tease it out. Yeah. I'm the only person who understands Jeffrey Epstein because he spent a really long time with him, recording him, observing him. And yet, Congress has, I mean, I'm against subpoenaing journalists and and trying to, force them to give up their materials. But the truth is that he has been trying to sell these tapes to various people for publication. He's looking for the highest bidder, and he just hasn't gotten the price that he wants. So at that point, like, when are you actually holding back information that is in the public interest just to serve the right to ask for these tapes that he's been, frankly, shopping around, trying to sell? I know this for a fact. Like, he's trying to sell these tapes. And now he says, I'm the Epstein whisperer. You don't understand him the way that I understand him. Well, like, why didn't you ever say anything over the decades of time that you spent with him?
I've spent some time going through his emails, right? I went to the emails in November. They were fairly damning, but there was a smaller trove of emails. And now we have 1,800 pages of Michael Wolff emails. And I have a lot of concerns because, like, the things that I am reading, I kind of wonder if he's not afraid now to make those audio tapes public because he's worried about what he may have said. I'm reading emails where he's giving statements for Jeffrey Epstein to say to discredit Julie K. Brown's reporting from the Miami Herald in 2018. And
he was advising him.
He was advising him, and then Epstein
not
was
a
helping
journalist.
him edit his book, right? Like, and then he comes out and he is like, I met the devil, Jeffrey Epstein. And it's like, no, you didn't. You traveled with him to Europe. Like, there was no point in their relationship where there was any kind of worry or suspicion. Like, they were clearly pals and for a long period of time, like close.
Ellie, it's so crazy to me about the fact that he traveled with Jeffrey.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I remember talking to other journalists who have worked with him at the same magazines as him, and they were just like, I wouldn't be surprised this guy was on his plane with him. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and he was.
He sucked it up to spit it right out, right? That's what he said.
Yeah. Well, I
What
mean,
did he mean by
and the crazy,
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ellie.
But also,
No,
why
you go ahead.
Congress subpoenaed Cohen? I don't understand that.
That's a great question.
This is the crazy. Well, I know why they haven't subpoenaed them, because who's in charge of the subpoena power? James Comer. James Comer is not going to allow Cohen to go up there and spill his guts about what he possibly might know on Donald Trump. He's not going to. That's why they haven't gone after Wolff. Just think about it. Trump comes out, makes a statement saying Wolff and Epstein conspired to go after my campaign, and then Trump is not going after Wolff. Think about it. I mean, the fact that, there's a reason, because he knows those tapes, and that's why Wolff, you're right, he's playing it. And that leads me into this whole thing with this lawsuit, that he, supposed slap, anti-slap, all of this, promoting himself, actually using people's money. Because at the end of the day, there's a couple of things. First of all, the lawsuit itself is virtually, it's a long shot. Let's start off that to begin with. He's trying to basically sue Melania Trump to be able for, as he says, and this is where it gets interesting, to depose her and Donald Trump. Well, the thing is that the lawsuit that he's suing for is called the anti-slap suit, and that means that the resolution you get is not to go into deposing them and going to some kind of trial. What you get is, if Michael Wolff were to win, let's say if he were to able to actually serve Melania, which he hasn't served her yet, and he was actually to proceed with this, and the judge ruled in his favor and said, yes, you win, what Melania would have to do is drop her lawsuit. Drop her lawsuit that she threatened to sue him with, so she wouldn't be able to sue him. So she wouldn't be able to sue him. And B, she would have to pay his attorney's fees. So those are the only thing. There's no depositions. There's no going to some sort of a trial. It's basically to stop from being able to sue. He is using that basically, and he's talking on this whole podcast with Michael Cohen about how that money is not to him, that money's to his attorneys. They're drawing down on it. This is going to be a long thing. We're trying to find Melania, but eventually we're going to get her. But then it gets interesting. So he's talking about he's doing it for the people, right? Like he's playing this, like trying to be this hero, that the people, that tens of thousands of people have given him almost $1 million to go get Melania to admit what? That she slept with Donald Trump on Jeffrey Epstein's airplane. That's what he accused Melania. That's what she said. She's suing him for liability and all of this thing. That's what started it. So then he responds to Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen asks him, he goes, well, what happens if she lies? What happens if she comes in there and says, no, that never happened. I didn't sleep with Donald Trump. So Michael Wolff says, well, I have the Epstein tapes where Epstein says that he did. So, right here and there, I just want to understand, just that alone, why is he not just releasing that tape? If he was really a hero, if he was really a person that wanted accountability, he goes on all of these stuff.
Is that enough? Is that enough proof? Like Epstein's word?
But it would be at least enough to be able to let the world at least hear Epstein's own words, and then have the White House respond to it, have Melania respond to it, have Trump respond to it. It's better. Why? In the meantime, he's spending $1 million. He's raising $1 million to go sue, to say, because at the end of the day, if Melania says no, I didn't say it. what is he going to do? What is Melania? Let's say Melania turns around and lies and says, "I didn't." Let's say he gets everything he wanted to do. His plan, and let me play it so this way you can hear what his plan is. So that, folks, you can hear it with your own ears. 1 second, let me put it. Hear it. If Cohen actually, this is how sick, demented they are. Cohen asked him the question. Hold on, you got to listen to this. And there's another part I want you guys to listen to that's important there, I think, is the way they go into about how he makes a really crazy statement because, these narcissists, and Wolff is a narcissist, just like Epstein and Trump and all of them. And they do not realize what the things they say sometimes. And he made a statement here. I'm gonna try to find it for you guys to listen to. He says this, and this is important. He goes, right now, Michael, the only people that are talking about the Epstein files are people that have no idea firsthand knowledge, because the people with firsthand knowledge are too scared to talk to get in trouble. So he's talking from a perspective of a pedophile, that the pedophiles are keeping quiet, they're not talking. But he's forgetting that you're talking like Tara, you, Ellie, you guys are talking about because you spoke to the victims. You guys have seen the files. You are speaking from first-hand knowledge, from the survivors, from the victims, and he's only thinking about the first-hand knowledge that the actual perpetrators or the actual criminals or the actual pedophile. And it just shows the subconscious criminal in
Well, it makes him sound like he's putting himself in that box too.
right. He doesn't even realize it. But let me listen to this, guys. Listen to this one.
Sure.
A number of people at the White House. And when this happened, this person said, well, nobody here saw that coming. So they're in a bind here that if this lawsuit progresses, they will have to testify.
Sure. So now you have them, one or both, at the deposition table, and you ask a specific question. And the response, let's say hypothetically, did you ever engage in sexual activities and talking to Melania with Donald or anyone on Jeffrey Epstein's aircraft known as the Lolita Express? And she says no. She says no. Do you have information that would contradict that statement? Because that goes directly to the question I was asking you before. What do you hope to uncover?
Of course, and obviously, as I say, I have Epstein on tape talking about that, but I think it's you would triangulate that with flight logs, dates, who was where, who else was on that flight. To subpoena, it's not just to subpoena them. We have the power. This lawsuit extends the power to subpoena anyone who has relevant information. So
So that's all a lie. First of all, again, this lawsuit there's nobody to subpoena. He's not suing anybody.
No.
This is such a fraud. I don't even say he's not suing anybody. What is subpoena for? What? Who is he subpoenaing? What is this give a subpoena for, to do? Absolutely nothing. And I'm not even a lawyer. And you want me? You guys, can I share a story with everybody? How crazy this is? How I found this out, because I am not a lawyer. I have nothing to do with slap lawsuits. So Michael Cohen started attacking us, all of us, Tara, Ellie, and everybody. So I said to myself, you know what? Let's try to do, Michael Wolff has this great idea. What if we do the same thing to Michael Cohen and we go sue Michael Cohen anti-slap and go depose him about what he knows about Epstein files, do the same thing to him, what he's trying to do. So I go out there and we find the top anti-slap lawyers in the country. In New York City, one of them happens to knows Michael Cohen because Michael Cohen tried to approach him in an earlier suit about the case that the whole Steele files. He wanted to go after the Steele dossier, and he turned him down. So he even know, and he knows about the Michael Wolff case. So he told me, he goes, look, Lev, he goes, and this is a guy, that really doesn't like Trump, that probably would have done it for free. This is how, and he's a big guy. He goes to me, I would love to. He goes, but first of all, Wolff, I mean, the chances of what the case law that he's trying to do in New York is slim, very slim for him to even get that through. Second of all, is to serve her, and she's trying to get to, he goes, the loopholes you have to get through to get to that. He goes, and then what do you achieve? I said, what do you mean? I said, you achieve the final, you get to depose him. Isn't that the end result? We would depose Michael Cohen, just like they would depose, Melania and Donald. He goes, no. He goes, that's not the case. He goes, what would happen is if you would win, Michael Cohen would not be able to sue you. And basically, he would have to pay your attorney's fees. I go, so what about all the money that I would raise through the GoFundMe, to pay for it? He goes, that's a good question, Lev, but that's not for me to decide.
Yeah.
So think about that, folks. Just think about the craziness that's going on. And then again, the other question, because I asked him, I said, does it cost $1 million to do something like that? He goes, I'm a very high priced attorney. He goes, I charge over $2,000 an hour. He goes, I would not take $1 million retainer from you for this. He goes, probably 100,000 to start off with and see where we would even get, before, because,
Right.
so I'm thinking about, why is he raising where's this money going? Okay. Understandably, it's not.
He made $13 million on his book. He doesn't.
Go ahead, Ellie. Go ahead.
He made so much money on his book. The idea that he just even asked for people's pennies to help him do this is just so entitled. I get that when he showed up here, he was like a hero, and we were all like, "Hey, he's here. He's the Epstein guy." But that went downhill really quickly because right after he showed up is when they did that first tranche of emails in November, and people, obviously had buyer's remorse, but it's just with a little bit of oh, he's asking for money to help pay for this lawsuit. I'm gonna double check and does he have the kind of money to pay for it? Yeah, he does. He's a millionaire. He doesn't need our money. And that was a little sketchy, and it was a bummer because, again, I tell people I was a huge Michael Wolff fan. I was a huge fan. I have a couple of his books. When I first became interested in this story, he was a source of information. He's a great source of information. But as I read his emails and started to realize the intent behind how he got the information, it's really shady. I mean, today I've gone through. I mean, some days are totally boring reading his emails. Today's was not boring. Today I went through several emails where Epstein is talking with him and he's like, oh, we gotta go catch and kill this thing before it gets too far. And he goes, okay, hold on. I gotta wait until all the girls wake up and then we'll go do this. And it's they're talking about all the girls waking up. He just knew everything that was going on. And there's just so much stuff that he was covering up and getting rid of. In his own words, he was neutralizing to help Epstein's reputation. He goes, this is where you get your reputation back. This is where we fix everything today. You just got to help me out to get Trump, and then we're going to fix everything that people have said about you. And it's that was his intent, whether it was for Epstein or for himself. There was no worry about the relationship. He was his buddy.
Well, and that's a great point to what you're saying, and bringing it all to what's happening right now. He's doing the same thing. Back then, he was basically playing Epstein to, for whatever reason, they were buddies. He was, it was, at the end of the day, it's all about money and power. It's not because, him and Epstein went to ball games together or like to go fishing or even go to a poker game. Everything has to do with some political, or financial, or some sort of story, or killing a story, or rehabilitation. And by the way, folks, Tara is having some bad internet issues. She's trying to get back on. If we get her back, hopefully, I sent her a request just so we know we didn't just cut her off. We didn't just throw her off the stage. Yeah. So and now you take a look at. He's basically doing the same grift, but now with the American public, because he came on. And just think about it, he fooled everybody, because he came on during a time where he really was a real source to the Epstein files, because think about it, not him, how many people, including the people you're seeing every day, including the Lutniks of the world and all of that, that never would have imagined that this would that these
Right.
files, these emails, all of this stuff would come out. Nobody ever could even imagine that the persistence of all of us here on this platform to be able to push Congressman Rokan and Massey, nobody could have imagined that you would have Marjorie Taylor Greene and have just think about how many things aligned for it to actually, because none of them would have imagined. And that's why in the meantime, these are the people that were sitting there while this was playing out. They were grifting, making money, going on these shows, selling their books, talking about how, oh, release the files. Release the files. We need all the files released. And what happened when they released the files,
Yeah.
folks?
Yep.
All
There
of
they
a
all are.
sudden, and here
You
they are.
know, I just
Yeah,
wanted to say something too, because like
please, Ellie, please.
there's sort of like a two sides of the coin, especially when you're dealing with Michael Cohen. You get a lot of people going like, how could you ever have had any faith in him, or how could you, how could you be so stupid? How could you, obviously this is who he's always been. And I just want to say, just as a probably more optimistic person than your average bear, maybe, that it's okay that we're like trying to look for a hero in this, right? There's a lot of bad stuff, and being hopeful is okay. And of course we got to do our homework, and of course you vet your sources, and of course you pay attention if somebody starts to do stuff that feels a little off, like pay attention to it. But I don't think it's like stupid of people to be hopeful that somebody might change and do better,
Absolutely.
right? And so like when Michael Cohen came along, when Michael Wolff came along, like being hopeful that there are people filled with information. Because again, if they do the right thing, yeah, that is a powerful
Absolutely.
source. That is an absolutely powerful source
100%.
that could help, you know, write an ending to this story. But so far that's not what they're doing. And it's not, because I see a lot of sort of infighting between people who are hopeful and thought that these were good people versus people who are just like, you're so stupid. How could you ever think that? These are terrible people. And it's like, I am one of these hopeful people, and I will always be hopeful of people doing
You're
the right
great.
thing and changing. And but again, it is a good lesson in paying attention and making sure that your hopefulness doesn't get ahead of you and people aren't taking advantage of you, because now you have them apparently teaming up together, and just as Michael Wolff did with Julie K. Brown and Tina Brown and all these other journalists along the way, Ronan Farrow, who were doing good things for survivors. He's trying to discredit the work that's happening on the Epstein files and call us hysterical, which I have to say, just speaking as a woman, like, call me hysterical again, Michael. Like, just go ahead and keep calling me that, because all that does is it just like adds gasoline, and I'm just going to keep looking, keep fighting, keep publicizing. But like, it's okay. Yeah, it's just okay to be hopeful. Like we're in a very dark time,
Yeah. Wow.
and and having a little hope to kind of get us through the end of the day, I don't think is a bad thing.
Ellie, I just want to say, I mean, you hit my heart right now, because I want everybody, when you watch this, I want you to replay those words, what she said, because she's so right. This is and this is so important, and that's why I want people to understand that we have to be able to believe and hope, but we have to be smart enough to realize, once we realize that it's not what it is, we have to let go and move on, and that's the important part. So the fact that, yeah, I mean, my own personal story with Michael Wolff and Michael Cohen, I mean, I knew Michael Cohen was not the perfect guy. I knew Michael Cohen better than anybody on this platform, but I also understood where he came from. I understood the pain he went through. I understood his family's pain. I understood, more than others, because I went to a very similar journey. But I also understood me and Michael also had a little bit of different paths, different journeys, and different things that we took. And at some point it came to a heads up where he had to make a choice, and he made a choice. And that's what it's not conversation what he did in the past. That's why Ellie's 100% right. Like, the people that say here, oh, how could you ever listen to Michael Cohen, or how could you ever, what's it called? don't do that. It's not about that, because when Michael Cohen was testifying there in front of the whole world of Donald Trump, he was a hero to everybody, and everybody was like, rah, 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 Michael Cohen. So I'm saying to you, Ellie is 100% right. We need to be able to look at people and give them a chance, because redemption is true. Look, I'm a perfect example of redemption. To me, it's a hard line to always walk because of people like Michael Cohen or Michael Wolff and I feel sometimes like, there's these different, like, situations in life where, people get accused of certain things, and then they mess it up for people that really get like the battered women's treatment, or, people that fake that they get beat up, and then, they make it bad for other women that get beat up and stuff like that. It's like the same people here. Like, I'm saying to you, they're going out there right now and making it bad for other people that are trying to come out and to be able to give the truth, to be able to help, because of the diversion and divisiveness that's happening. So, Ellie, I just want to say that was on that, and I agree with you that we tried. Listen, I was going to speak to Michael Wolff literally the day before the Epstein files dropped. I watched him. It was
Well, I was
crazy.
too, I think.
I was watching him on the Waj Ali show, the Left Hook, and after I saw him talk about he had 100 tapes or something, and after he got off the show, I called Waj. I said, Waj, can you get me in touch with Wolff? I want to do a show with him because I want to talk more about these tapes. And then literally the next day, I think the Epstein files dropped, and all of a sudden he disappeared. And then the next thing, he went after Ellie, and we responded. He blocked all of us, and then you hear it even with his own voice. He goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. Substack. I just block everybody." And then but think about how much money he's raking in and doing right now by going in. He's the Epstein whisperer, and he talks about that people like you, me, others out there that sticking to strict facts. Nobody claims to know.
All we're doing is literally
thank you.
Downloading a document from the file and just showing it to people. Like it's not my opinion. It's not conjecture. I'm just like, this is just your email, and here it is. And the level of arrogance, like this, it's a narrative of this whole investigation, right? This whole story is arrogance and entitlement and what you deserve for being in a position of money and power. He is in a position of money and power. He's at a very high level of journalism or whatever, but he's also developed a reputation for that. And like just his approach, the wording that he knows what he's saying. When he says that somebody is hysterical or an opportunist or a wannabe influencer, which I find hilarious because I was like, do we do like dance videos or like makeup tutorials? What do we do? But just like, and then like, even when he was talking about Zev, he's like, that guy, what's his name? Oh yeah, Zev. And it's like, you know what his name is. Like it's all meant to be a dig and a takedown because I'm Michael Wolff and I'm a great journalist. I'm a great author. And you're just, conspiracy theorists. You're just armchair investigators. You're these people clicking on your laptop at 4 a.m. Like it's meant to be arrogant and to discredit. And that's what he did the entire time. If you read all his emails, his job was to discredit anybody who got in the way. And I'm just not getting out of the way. I think that's the plan from here on out. I'm not getting out of the way. And if things come up and I have them and I can just be like, here, then I'm going to do that because we haven't done that the whole time. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here 30 years later. Nobody's doing that. So now we're going to do that. Now we're going to show who's in there and who's making bad decisions. And that's all we're going to do. And if you made a bad decision and you made a bad decision, maybe come out and say something before that email shows up and just be like, look, I screwed up. This was a bad idea. I'm going to come out and I'm going to say it and I'm going to be honest. And like, nobody's being honest. And I don't get it. I don't get where the honesty is. Maybe it's their brains are broken. I don't know.
Ellie, I can't figure it out either. No, I love it. No, I can't figure it out either. But, I could tell you they're not going to stop you and they're not going to stop us. They're not going to keep going. Yep, Mama Wolff, that's Ellie. Ellie.
Become a kid sister. Kid sister
right.
Wolff.
No, kid sister Wolff. Yeah, I was going to say more. Yeah. I'm the Mama Papa Bear.
Yeah.
I'm Grandpa already. I feel like
right. Yeah. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But listen, guys, first of all, Ellie, I want to thank you so much much for taking time. I know you got a full schedule. Ellie's going to be on 5 o'clock with Zev Shalev. Make sure you guys go join them. They're breaking a lot of incredible stuff. And make sure before you join, you go hit that little button up there and make sure you go subscribe if you haven't yet to Ellie, to Tara, to myself. Do the cross pollination. And folks, very importantly, I'm going to be blunt with you. I know a lot of people sugarcoat it and is shameless, but I'm going to be, you know me, I say it the way it is. You need to, if you can, become paid subscribers to Ellie Leonard, to myself, to Tara, to other independent journalists, whoever you listen to, whoever you support. I'm sorry, the phone was going off. Whoever you listen to, whoever you support, it's extremely important because this is our full-time jobs. Ellie Leonard has kids. She has a family. She's out here 24/7. You see her in the middle of the night. You see her during the day. You see her breaking things, and you don't even see the things she's doing behind the scenes to helping save our country. She's a true hero, a true patriot. And for $3.75 or whatever the ridiculous, I tell her every day she needs to raise it a little bit amount. I know she is great, but listen,
I'm not gonna do it.
she's not going to do it. So for that amount of money, guys, you can't even get a cup of coffee. You can't. I don't even know what you could get for $3.50, but you can get some great information, and you could support a really incredible independent journalist. So please, folks, if you can, go out there and become a paid subscriber. And with me, you know, same story here. This is my life. So if you can support, because we're going to fight and we're going to bring you the truth. Ellie, have a great day. I know you have a lot going on.
Yep, we'll keep talking.
Yeah, we'll keep going. We'll keep fighting. And I got to go. Actually, I'm going to be on at 5:20 with Miles Taylor at Defiance. Yeah. So
I thought you meant an airline, and I was like, go.
No. No, I got to go on Defiance. We got a lot. We got to save America. So
go say hi to Miles.
I will say hi to Zev. I'll talk to you later. Take care, Ellie. Take care, guys. Have a great day.